What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Listen, no more countdown for the Big Ten Media Days. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to kick it off with, sort of a response to what we talked about last night. And then we're going to get into some other Big Ten Media Day updates and comments, quotes, stuff like that. So another great show. Countdown wise, 10 more days until fall camp. All right. That's coming up quick. Coming up quick. Remember, for you locals, the first 3 days are open to the public. All right. So cop your tickets. I believe at $30. All right. So make sure you take advantage of that. And then we got 39 Jim Parker days. I had to dig for this one. 39 Jim Parker days until August 30th when we kick off versus Texas. Jim Parker was a two-time All-American offensive lineman back in 1954, before I was born. I sound like Jack Park now, don't I? The Ohio State historian. But listen, good show. Last night was fun. We're going to follow up and really get into the Big Ten Media Days, and also Tony Petiti's comments when asked about Michigan and the whole freak out about his magical letter that was going to exonerate them. We're going to talk about that. Nevada, what's good, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, today was an interesting day. You've got some clarification. I'll say we had Freak Out Monday, and after we get done talking about Freak Out Monday and kind of doing that, we do have a new thing to freak out on Freak Out Tuesday. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a freaky week here, where every day there seems to be another crisis, that a crisis of confidence that you and I have to kind of come in. I feel like we're the firemen. We have to come in there. It's like giant fires, and we just kind of come with the fire hoses, and we're like, okay,
Yes.
we're gonna come in here, and we're gonna distinguish the hopes of the Michigan fans, and for the Ohio State fans that are dreaming that the program is burning down. We're gonna help save you as well. So that's what here maybe here and my brother B Moses are gonna be here. We are the firemen to put out the flames of despair that seem to be raging through Buckeye land from day to day.
Absolutely. And to that point, Nevada, as we ended last night, I saw there was a gentleman, I forget the screen name. He said, "Okay, gentlemen." He said, "No." He said, "Okay, guys, I'm stepping off the ledge now." Like we convinced him, like we won him over, which is good.
Well,
And all we did was present facts and logic and receipts, and
well,
just
now, did we have super chats at the buzzer last night that we're going to address today, I mean, did we miss anybody last night?
so
I
I
wasn't
did
sure if that
notice.
happened.
Yes, there were two super chats that came in after we ended. So basically, we signed off and said, "Hey, good night." But then, the chat kept going because we keep it going a little bit so the chat can keep going. But they came in at that point. So I have the screenshots. So at the end, I can certainly, just pull them up. We can just talk. We can talk
Yeah,
to them.
let's make sure we don't, because I know that they got missed. I'm not saying we missed them, but they got missed. So
Yeah.
I think let's make sure we stuff them into the stuffer in the super chat thing. But today was an interesting day because basically Tony Petiti confirmed everything that we were talking about
Yep.
last night, when people were, the Michigan fans were dancing in the streets of Ann Arbor and carrying, pictures of Tony Petiti over their head, like like the mobs in Iran or something like that, and they were, chanting "Death to Columbus," and we're like, guys, this isn't what you think it is. And Tony Petiti was asked the question specifically, and
Yes.
his response basically, and this was pretty illuminating. It was one, it's a standard thing for the for the commissioner to do, which he confirmed. And secondly, his point on this, which is really a broader point in the entire thing, was that he is desirous. He's desirous of a few things. One, he's desirous of the championships being won on the field and not being really subject to more, voting or AI or committees or things like that. That's why he's in favor of this play-in weekend that we've been talking about. And secondly, he's really in favor of prompt administration of justice. And that really goes to the whole idea of, as we talked about in the past in these super conferences, about a commissioner, and in an all powerful commissioner that can, dole out punishment, much like the commissioners do in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA. That's what keeps those teams in line. it's not because those team owners are nice guys or that they don't have money to spend. These guys have more money than anybody, but they fear the wrath of the commissioner. And so what Tony was talking about in this letter was about the fact that this justice in his mind is taking a long time, and he's desirous of a quicker administration of justice policy, which is in line with a commissioner of the super conference, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't that he was absolving Michigan. It wasn't that he didn't feel that they did anything wrong. It wasn't that he was begging for justice for them, justice for Juicy or anything like that. It was none of that stuff. This was strictly about broader issues, all issues that we've touched on here before. And so, frankly, at the end of the day, the Tony Petiti letter was a big, dare I say, nothing burger that the Michigan fans were celebrating over. And it was just kind of funny because you could almost feel the collective air kind of being drained out of the balloon today
Yes,
when Tony Petiti said this. But it was what we told you last night. It was literally the show that we
literally.
told you last night, and we admonished you not to read too much into it. If you're an Ohio State fan, I mean, because again, some Ohio State fans were really just embarrassing themselves. Just oh,
Yes, they
Tony
were.
P's, but he's betrayed us all, and this is the greatest betrayal since Jon Snow, stabbed Daenerys in the throne room. And it was terrible. Just the people, just the anguish that people are going through. And we're like, guys, you're getting a paraphrase thing from Dan Wetzel about a topic that I'm not even sure he's talking about that topic. And as it turned out, it was really about the broader thing of administration. I think we all agree. I mean, let me ask you: are you in favor of quicker investigations and justice for evildoers in college football?
Yes, Lord, please. This has been a long, grueling journey to deal with these idiots, and not only that, this particular case and what they did. This is the case study for what needs swift justice to get them out the paint immediately for cheating on the field. And so, yes, so that's my quick answer to your question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we're all on that. I mean, is there anybody that's on team longer justice? I think this is
No.
this is one issue that we all 100% agree on. So I think Tony was kind of one stating the obvious that we all. I mean, look, I want it to be thorough. I mean, I want it to be complete. I want the investigations to be done right. But and the funny thing is, this has been one of the quick ones. I mean, there have been investigations that have
Yeah.
taken years longer than this one, but it's just because they don't have the resources to do it. I mean, they've got a huge thing to police, very few policemen. I mean, the NCAA investigative arm is really small. People have no idea. I think they think it's like the NYPD, and they got like 10,000 detectives and Commissioner Gordon and all this stuff. No, it's not like that. It's like four people, and then they got part-time people. I mean, it's not a huge department at all, and they've got to administer justice for thousands of
Right.
different schools, because when you consider the number of schools times the number of different sports and things like that, and they've
Yep.
got it. I mean, it's virtually impossible for them to do this best they can, but they're really hamstrung. So I think if you're going to go to this thing where you've got a central clearinghouse for NIL, where you've going to have a central commissioner, you're going to have to allocate the resources, because everybody wants guidelines. Everybody wants swifter justice. Tony Petiti, in his letter, in the famed letter, the golden ticket letter, the letter that Michigan sat on for 6 weeks, well, it turns out it was really about broader topics that everybody is in agreement on, that these things shouldn't go on and really, punish people that were more tangentially or indirectly related to it should be more focused. It should be quicker and stuff. So the Tony Petit letter was not what people were freaking out about. Much ado about nothing. And order has been restored in the last 24 hours. But again, as we told you, it was going to be.
Exactly. And like the homie Intrinsic said to me earlier, he said your podcast like last night aged well. You know how you sometimes say, well, that aged poorly. It aged well because we literally less than 24 hours ago, actually maybe 24 hours ago at this point, told y'all what this was. And even in the title, just to let y'all know about the title. I like purposely put quotation marks around shocking new insight, because it wasn't shocking. We're pretending to be shocked. We told you this last night. And so just to see the graphic, of course, I'm a meme head. I had to make the meme. I got Tony Petiti saying, "Relax, idiots. This is standard operation. Hammer coming." Right? And then it's Patrick Murphy saying he was asked about the report of the sign stealing scandal. Petiti said they did send a letter, which is common for the conference to do, but wouldn't comment on an ongoing investigation. And that's when Nevada just touched on how he said the enforcement that act. He said having enforcement that acts faster is important in college athletics. It's difficult to still be talking about this almost 2 seasons after. Yes, we agree. And I just wanted to say that, like, because a lot of people who complain, we've been covering this, like, y'all still talking about this and we're tired of hearing about this and it ain't going to happen. If it ain't happened, it ain't going to happen yet. And it takes too long. We know it takes too long. Like, it's ridiculous. We agree with that. However, it's still the process currently. And Michigan, what they did was worse than anything we've seen in our lifetime as far as on-field cheating. So guess what? I'm going to pull out my chair and I'm going to keep popping me some popcorn until justice is served. And we're going to talk about it and cover it. But yes, big fat L for the the plastic hammer, the tiny hammer crowd. Just not even 24 hours ago, they were celebrating. I was getting tagged by Michigan fans. You see this? You're in shambles by the Tony Petiti letter, literally telling me that. And I'm just like, what do you? It's just Nevada. These fools, man, they are literally brain dead zombies just walking around. They have no idea or no clue of reality. So yeah, this was just an L, and they haven't said much since the Big Ten media days. They've been pretty quiet, which is expected. So we just told y'all last night. We told y'all.
Well, the thing is, B, it's like this story. If you think about this story, let's forget the name, forget Ohio State, forget Michigan, Tony Petiti, let's just talk about a story using, school X or school Y. You have school X that is on the verge of losing their record-breaking number of wins, losing their first national title, their first uncontested national title in 50 years.
Yeah.
Potentially losing their head coach, potentially being placed on a multi-year postseason ban, which could affect their recruiting classes, their donations, their existing staff, etc. That's a major story. I mean, I'm trying to think about the number of times something like this has happened in my lifetime of following college football, and it's not many. I mean, you can count them on one hand in terms of the times something like this has happened, and it certainly hasn't happened recently. So, for me, I don't know what other story we could cover that would be more relevant, a bigger story, or one that's more interesting than this one. I mean, we'll touch on Big Ten media days, and we'll touch on guys going up there and going, we're really going to have we've really had a great summer working out. We're really together as a team. We really believe in our guys for 2020. I mean, like, yeah, we'll give you that stuff too. But man, this Michigan stuff, to me, I'm trying to think of a more. There's never been a cheating scandal quite like this one before, and these punishments. I mean, this is going to be one of the worst sets of certainly the worst punishment that any team in the Big Ten's ever received. I mean, I can't think of anybody that's ever been punished. I mean, Penn State, had their things, but they had some of that stuff rolled back. But I mean, this is bad. I mean, this is really, really bad. It's imminent. You're talking about this thing. I mean, this thing could literally drop at any time right now. And yeah, no, I like I said, I make no apologies for being interested in the story. I think that it's really kind of a shame that more places haven't covered this, because I think you're going to see a rush to cover it when it happens, because people are going to try to be catching up. They're going to be going, what the heck? How did this happen? We thought this was nothing. We thought the Michigan people told us this was a nothing. This was all over a cheeseburger. And now I think some people are going to be shocked, but you won't be shocked because you guys have been listening, getting educated, and that's why you guys are such smart fans.
Exactly. And just real quick, and I know we mentioned the super chats in the beginning. I forgot to mention our super chats go to our pay it forward military, first responders. We take care of them because they take care of us. Wanted to let y'all know that before I moved on. But yes, to your point about Penn State, because I had some, of course, the fallout from yesterday. I had Ohio State fans, some of them panicking and being a little, see, I told you the hammer wasn't coming. And then, of course, the Michigan fans were celebrating, acting extra stupid, victory laps and all that other stuff. So I was fielding all types of nonsense from both sides. And so, a couple of fans was like, it's apples and oranges, the tack gate, because Justin Spiro, we showed you yesterday the graphic on Twitter where he showed Delaney going to bat for Ohio State for the tack gate supposed scandal, and then he showed Tennessee, and as examples of commissioners supporting one of their institutions. Well, Jim Delaney supported Penn State too. There's nothing more disgusting than that, right? Than that situation. But as a commissioner, and what he did, and I looked it up and read through the old articles and all the other stuff, he kind of did what Petiti did. On the front end, he was very adamant about accountability and how heinous it was and all the other stuff, of course. But on the back end, he was trying to be a commissioner with helping the process of Penn State healing and moving on. And, he was even discussing, helping with decreasing some of the penalties. That's what a commissioner does. Okay. So if Delaney was willing to support Penn State with the most heinous thing overall, I know this is different than on-field cheating, then what would you expect Tony Petiti to do? And this is it's just weird. And yes, Nevada, a lot of comments on my page about he needs to be fired and ban him from Columbus. Don't let him come to Columbus. He can't. He's not allowed in the WAC. He's not allowed in the shoe. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. And I just like, come on, man. Like, we got to think stuff through. I get it that we're fans, but to me, yes, we have emotions. I get fired up, but it's just like, I can't, you got to think through stuff before you just, at least for me, I don't like posting stuff or spewing stuff without actually thinking it through. And I just saw a lot of ridiculous reactions yesterday. And so anyway, again, the point is, as I kind of wrap up this little rant, we told you yesterday what this was, which was a nothing burger. We told you this is standard operation, standard procedure. And guess what? Tony Petiti confirms it today. And the rest of the information as far as his angle with the letter and expediting the process, all of that, nothing burger. This is not going to make the 6 level 1 violations disappear. Okay, so back to your regular scheduled program, and the hammer's coming any day now. That simple.
Well, it's you have to remember, and we talked about this we touched on this, but man, the guy that the Big Ten, well, the commissioners talk to more than their wives and kids and anybody else are the network television executives. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that's who their real constituents are, those guys. And for any of those network, they've got to protect their brands. They've got to support. They at least got to show that they're doing that, because otherwise you're kind of flipping off your television guys. You're like, hey, I know this brand's going to get hit for a thing. It's going to affect you by television points or whatever it's going to be. I at least care about that. I'm at least empathetic about that. Let me show support to them, but that because you want to support your television partners. But that's all that was. And it's funny though. Yesterday was the freak out. We do have a new freak out today though, B. We do.
Freak
I want
out.
you to I want you to know that, like, so the freakouts were not just concerned. So the new freak out, as I understand it, is that they're Ross Dellinger or whomever from Yahoo had come out with something saying, and I don't know if I understand it exactly, but I'm paraphrasing, and maybe you can jump in and kind of explain if I get this wrong. But basically, they're saying that they're going to allow NILs or NIL collectives to continue to operate as long as they stay within acceptable payment ranges, or as long as it has some sort of legitimate business purpose or something like that. I'm not sure if I understand all the nuance or the technical jargon on that. But the freak out is that Ross Bjork had brought the NIL collective, the foundation, in house, and now people are freaking out that oh, Roshborg shut down the NIL collective, and so that's why we're behind the page and this and that. And it's like, guys, one, the recruiting season is not over. This is July. You have a long time until signing day. If you want to get more money, Ohio State does not lack for the ability to raise money or deploy it. They just didn't want to deploy money in a way that was going to be deemed to be illegal. So if if they want to go back, if they want to circle back on any play, if they want to up the ante to anybody, they certainly have the power to do that. They certainly can turn on the spigot tomorrow if they want to do that. But for guys that are just going out there and asking, Ohio State is confirmed, and Ryan Day again confirmed, they're not going after the $5 million high school athletes. That's not who they're pursuing. And so, if you're a fan and you're expecting Ohio State to be in those, that's not who they're going to go. It's not going to change. That's not going to who they're going to be going after. They're going to continue to emphasize development over immediate dough and culture over cash. And for Ohio State, I think you'll see them make some moves or sweeten some things to kind of firm up some offers or keep guys in the fold. But this isn't going to be. I do not predict this to be. This is not going to be a radical change. But this is not going to be a hard thing for them to rectify either. So if you're freaking out about the NIL collective being shut down, or Ross Bjork's now, so we've in the last 2 days we've decided that Tony Petiti is no longer welcome in Columbus, and now that Ross Bjork needs to be run out of Columbus too because of this. I mean, I can't keep track of the people that are on the Ohio State death list right now, but no, let's calm down a little bit. Everything's going to be fine from a collective standpoint. We're just seeking clarity for the NCAA because the ruling seemed to indicate that these collectives needed to operate as part of the athletic departments. And if that's not true, and if they make a new ruling as they kind of smooth out the thing, Ohio State can adapt and kind of move into that environment as well. So if you're freaking out about that, don't freak out. We're back in the game. They'll get things moved out, and the class will finish just fine. All hope is not lost. But that's where I'm at sitting on a Tuesday, being from your reading and from your making calls and kind of checking us. How are you reading this?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I'll tell you the contrary view. Like, as you look at Twitter and social media, here's one comment. So basically, Bjork misread the whole situation, has set our class back. Got it. Like, that's what you got. Like, that's the type of reaction that we deal with. It's just like, it's just so short-sighted. So with that said, like, here's a quote from Bjork. Buckeye Sports Group can operate just like a collective. We're plug and play. And so and then the caption says, Bjork and Ryan Day were waiting for clarity. They may finally have it. So, yes, it's like we weren't going to rush out there and just start doing stuff without getting clarity. We are truly leaders. We are the Ohio State University. Okay, we are not a poverty program. So we're going to make sure we're above board. We're doing things the right way. Not just to say we're doing things the right way, but because even what Bjork said last week in an interview, so that we don't make decisions that impact us later on negatively. It's just the smart thing to do. So with that said, like Nevada said, we got a long way to go before recruiting is over with. Okay? Like, kids have not signed yet. Okay? Let's relax a little bit. And also, setting our class back, we have a really good class and it's still early. Okay? Kids are going to come on official visits during the season. Football will be played on the field. There's going to be some flips. There's going to be some late guys emerging. I am so not worried. I'm just not. Like, I've been around this game too long to freak out in July over recruiting with the Ohio State University recruiting. But I like the comment because you talk about people freaking out in Nevada. I tell you who's not freaking out. It's Ross Bjork and Ryan Day when he says we're plug and play. Like, they ready to go. Like, okay, cool. Let's do this. Right?
I mean, how can you look at the 2026 class and freak out? How can you look at that class and be like, oh my God, this is a terrible. This is a class that's going to set us back. I'm looking at the class. I'm just seeing dudes all over the place.
All over the place.
Again, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm Sally Sunshine. Maybe, but if I am, tell me, somebody educate me about, because I'm just looking at it. And I'm kind of going, man, I'm like, I'll go right on. I'm like, man, I like that guy. Wow, I like that guy. Wow, that guy's a stud. Wow, wow, I can't believe we got all those wide receivers. Wow, I mean, it's like bang, bang, bang. Like, I don't know what I'm missing. I really don't. That we don't have every 5-star defensive lineman. Well, we've never had every 5-star defensive lineman. And we've won 3 national championships, in the past, what, 23 years or something like that. That's pretty good. That's more than our share. That's more than most teams win. You know what I mean? No, we don't win every year. No, we don't win like Bama, or we might start winning like that. We certainly are in a position to go dynastic and start doing it. But I mean, whether we do or whether we don't, Ohio State, I'm just trying to remember in my lifetime when I looked at Ohio State and felt that we were devoid of talent. Certainly in the last 30 years,
Not in my
I mean,
lifetime.
I
Yeah.
I can't think of a time in the past 30 years where it's like, wow, this Ohio State team's kind of untalented, or not. Man, we've got dudes on top of dudes on top of dudes, and we're preseason number 2 in 2025, and I'm telling you, we're going to be better in 2026 than we are in 2025. And the 2026 class I love. Sam Greer and Carter Walden, guys that were kind of the lower ranked guys. Those guys are both studs. Caden Dixon and Wyatt. We have a class where we got Caden Dixon, Wyatt. That wide receiver class coming in 2026,
Crazy.
maybe the best in school history, maybe incoming. I'm not talking,
Yeah.
talking about on the way out. I have no idea. It's unknowable, but incoming, as good as any of them, right?
Yeah. I can't think of one better. Comparable, but that is to get 2 guys on the same team who are both, in my eyes, 5 stars, both 5 stars, just talent wise, is incredible. But one thing I'll say to respond with your, hey, I don't see why people are freaking out. This is what it is. All right. In my opinion, following recruiting as long as I have, doing what I do as long as I have. It's a combination between some fans just gravitating to misery and drama and negativity. That's just what they do. And
No,
then
no, B, hush your mouth.
I'm sorry.
No,
Uh,
really?
that
Oh
was
man,
bad.
negativity and stuff like. No way. Dare I say, call them miserable? Like miserable. Jim Tressel talked about that one
I
time.
was gonna say Jim Tressel, he caught some heat for telling the truth. And I forget what was his quote. He said, some fans just like to be miserable and he feels bad for them,
He
or he
feels
feels
bad.
sorry for them.
That's pretty much. That's pretty much. Yeah, that was a pretty good paraphrasing right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So, but he was correct, and he had to walk it back because, oh my God, how we support you? How dare you? It's the truth. You're miserable, and you gravitate towards a bunch of just misery and negativity. Okay, and I can hear them now. Oh, you're just a sunshine pumper. We keep missing out recruits. This is not the standard. Just stop it. Okay. So there's that, and then I sound like a school teacher. Little Johnny, stop it. Um, the other thing is people just stargaze, okay? And this has been a constant thing with recruiting. Yes, you want the 4 and 5 stars, okay? Because here's the kind of the battle here. All right, you got 3 stars who sometimes become great players, right? So you can't sleep on the 3 stars, but you also know the 4 and 5 stars. Numbers wise, when the teams have the most 4 or 5 stars, they typically win more. But there's also a lot of 3 stars that we can just go down the list of Ohio State history that have end up being awesome. So there's sort of that dichotomy of, that battle. If it's not all 4 and 5 stars, then, or if it's a 3-star guy, we really can't celebrate that much, or we reached on him and all this other stuff. And so it just kind of, it's that whole back and forth. And to that point, I kind of want to go back to specifically a position group with Ohio State. The Ohio State line, in my opinion, in the last few years is a perfect example of people stargazing and sleeping on not only talent, but development of talent. Because that's the other thing is, like, do you believe, like, look at all these guys who put in the NFL. Do you just don't believe that, first of all, the staff's evaluation is solid? Number one. Number two, their development is solid. How much evidence do you need? And the offensive line that, has the Austin Saravelds and guys like that, 3 stars, who really didn't get much fanfare when they committed, are now Iron Buckeyes and most likely going to be NFL guys who were 3 stars. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I keep trying to tell people, Nevada, is like, yes, recruiting is fun. It's exciting. You want to get all the big fish you can, but this is not a video game. And the staff knows more than you do, knows more than I do. They're not perfect. They can make mistakes, but I'm going to trust their vision based off their track record and the Ohio State track record to say, you know what, maybe this 3-star guy is pretty good. Maybe this Sam Greer guy is pretty good. Like, give me Sam Greer over David Sanders from last year and Ono, like straight up. And that's not no bias. That's just what I see. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to point that out with the whole recruiting thing because it's kind of annoying. I get it. It's a big deal. But it's just like some people just need to learn some balance, and which I know is a dirty word, Nevada. Ain't nobody going to be balanced. They just still going to be crazy. I just wasted my time.
No, but
anyway.
but you've played look, you played sports your whole life in terms of doing it. And, I played sports. I've been part of building teams in different sports throughout it. And let me tell you, when you're building teams, the best teams are never made up of just 5 stars. And I'm talking about the equivalent of you need role players on your team. You know what I'm saying? On a hockey team, you need fourth line guys, you need grinders, you need fighters, you need tough guys, you need big. Not everybody can be a scorer. Not everybody can be a top 6 guy on a hockey team. You know what I'm saying? On a basketball team, not everybody can be the guy that gets the rock and shoots it 25 times a game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like on a football team, it's the ultimate thing where you need all types of different guys. And that's what I've always embraced about Ohio State is that they put together teams better than anybody. And I'm telling you, if you gave a team and if you gave it guys, one team said, hey, look, we're going to give you the pick of the top 20 guys in the, you can pick the first 20 high school kids and take them on your team. I am telling you that team that does not guarantee they're going to win. There's no guarantee that the team's going to win because you have no idea how those pieces are going to fit together, how cohesive, how much those guys are willing to buy in to what they need to do. 5-star guys are not all created equal. They're not all JJ Smith when they run out there in the field. There's a lot of different things that kind of go on there in terms of doing it, but you're trying to build a team. And when you're trying to build a team, you need your Austin Seyervelds, you need your Carson Hinsmans to go with your superstars. Because not that's not the path for everybody. Not every position is that way either. So for Ohio State, man, I just don't worry about it. I worry about them getting sufficient enough talent, guys that are that have enough talent to be there because I know the development's going to be first rate. I know that the strength training, the nutrition training, the position coaching that they're going to receive, the weight room training. I mean, everything's going to be top notch, and they're going to be the best that they can be. And so for Ohio State, that's going to be more than that. We've never been untalented. That's never been an issue. I mean, when we played these Oregon's teams, and you can have all the money in the world being thrown around, all the Nike money that they want to throw together. But I'm telling you, that messes with your locker room. That messes with your culture. Sometimes that can be a backfire. You see it all the time in the NBA, the highest bid of or Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, the Dodgers go out and spend 500 million on their roster this year, and they go into Milwaukee, and Milwaukee sweeps them 4 games. With a roster that's $400 million a year less. I mean, it doesn't guarantee you success. So as a fan, man, I all I would say is, I mean, look, if there ever was a time as an Ohio State fan to trust the process, it would be right now. We're the freaking defending national champions, guys. It's not like, hey, things are really good in there and we're winning a lot of games. We just won the national champion, the first 12-team playoff. We just ran through 4 teams by double digits and won the national championship with our head coach. So, like, if there ever was a time to just sit back, have a smile on your face, trust the process, it's right now. I mean, if not now, when? you know, look, what when we win another one, when we go back to back or we go repeat or what? I mean, come on. It's like we just won the national championship. We've got a super talented team. We're bringing in another great class. We're bringing in a wide receiver class. The wide receiver position in college football is overpowered because of the rules, because of the advances they do in passing. It's overpowered. It's overpowered on the field. It's overpowered in terms of your ability to then go out and attract great quarterbacks because you've got the best wide receivers. I mean, it's there, and we're just bringing in 2026 in this class, this maligned class. We're bringing a wide receiver group that, in my opinion, could be the best on paper group that we've ever had. And I would defy anybody to go through another one and show me a more highly regarded class than this one coming in. I mean, we've got 5 kids in this class that are all ballers, man. And I don't know which one's going to be the next Terry McLaurin or which one's going to be the next Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave or whatever it is, but they're in there, man. These guys are super talented, super freaky. And I love this group. So, hey, we had our Monday freak out. We had our Tuesday freak out, but you know, things are plug and play. We're moving along. And let's be better. Let's have on Wednesday. Let's have Let's have a no freak out Wednesday. You know, I mean, why not? One day of no freak out. Come on, we can do that, right?
I don't know, man. I think it's a coin toss for real. I'm not too confident in that. I just don't. People are addicted. They're addicted to misery, and they're addicted to worst case scenario, and it's just weird, man. I mean, because there's one thing of being positive, and I'll say this, and you could tell me if people strike you this way as well. But people who don't really know me, they kind of, oh, well, you're just a positive guy. I am a positive guy. I am. But I'm not like Ned Flanders, like, you know, like diddly do neighbor, just because, you know, like I'm positive in the context. I'm positive in general, but specifically with Ohio State football, I'm so positive because we have way more to be positive about than negative. So why gravitate towards the little bit perceived negative when you have this big pile of positive? That's just kind of how I think. So it's just like, if it's a serious issue or something, we'll address it. Hey, this is a concern, whatever. But the overall way you move, to me as a Buckeye fan, and this is why on the podcast, I always try to say, hey, we are blessed to be a Buckeye. Be grateful. We have a great program. Look at our consistency. That is me trying to impart a positive mindset to fans, because listen about it. It doesn't matter how many championships we win. It doesn't matter how many recruiting battles we win. They're still going to gravitate towards misery until they change their mindset. That's just the flat out truth. Okay. So just like the people, when we get a big recruit, we might get another 5-star wide receiver or a linebacker, and they say, well, can they line up and play defensive end? We need D ends. Like this guy, okay, we need defensive end. Like, I hate that. I hate that. It's like, what about this kid? Do you think Ohio State's not recruiting defensive ends? And speaking of defensive ends, because I'm on one right now, let me shift gears a little bit. The other thing that irritates me, and I've said this before, is that we're so focused on acquiring the next 5-star defensive end or somebody in the portal that we're just not having any trust in what we have on the roster to emerge and take another step. It literally has happened every year at Ohio State. And one guy that was pointed out, Nevada.
No,
I don't know.
hold on. I want to say, who was the first name out of the list when they said, who's the player that's going to break out this year and have a big year for the Ohio State defense? What was the name, B. Moses? I'm going to ask you that question. Who was it?
It depends on who said it, because I was about to say a particular name.
I'm gonna say Sonny Styles. Let's say Sonny Styles. Who did Sonny Styles say?
Okay, so we're on the same page then, brother. I was just about to say that. Thank you. See? Listen. All right. Sonny Styles was asked in an interview, and without hesitation, who the next breakout player was. He said Kenyatta Jackson is a dog.
Yep.
He said Kenyatta Jackson. I mean, he said it with his chest too. He said he's like a first-round DN. And listen, I went back and watched him. I think I told y'all this on another pod. Just like Caden Curry, he made a lot of plays. I'm not saying he was JT and Zach and he was like all-world last year, but he made a lot of plays last season that just really didn't go. He didn't really get that much credit for. And to hear Sonny say that is just like, cats ain't even thinking about Kenyatta. They thinking about the 5-star defensive man we just lost, or Tyler Atkinson, or that we lost to Texas or whatever. We got some guys, y'all, that are ready to step up and dominate. And so we're up here hanging our head around like we got some monsters on this roster. All right. So I'm just trying to remind y'all, buck up, Buckeye fans. we got a lot to look forward to.
Well, if that defensive front, if you've got Bo Atkinson, who I just think is going to be a superstar. I mean, the more I
Yeah.
watch Bo Atkinson, I just think he's an absolute superstar. You know what I feel about K-Mac and Edric Houston, and if Kenyatta Jackson steps up and takes it to the next level and really does that, that could be a dominant front four. That could be an
Yeah.
absolutely dominant. And that's not even talking about Caden Curry coming off the bench or any of the other guys that we've got coming off. I mean, I think the defense this year, it's going to be interesting because you've got a new defensive coordinator, and for Matt Patricia's got a lot to prove. Matt Patricia's, he's coming in. I think he's at a point in his life where some people are doubting him. Coming off his stint in Detroit, and there's question marks about where he's going to go in terms of that. So he's got a lot to prove, and I think for him, his impact really on this team's been really, he's brought a very professional approach to roster construction, to strength and conditioning, to the types of players they're going after. I mean, his impact's really going across the thing. But Matt himself really wants to prove to people that he can still call a defense. And he's challenging those guys, and I think they take a lot of pride in terms of doing it. And so, as much as I feel like we lose from losing Jim Knowles, and I was a big Jim Knowles fanboy and thought, I like number one defense. I'm just a guilty pleasure of mine. So whenever we're number one in defense, I'm going to like that defensive coordinator. But I think Patricia's really got something to prove this year, and I think it's gonna be reflected in how they attack it on defense, because he feels like he's got the pieces to attack and do well. He loved these kids, and he didn't know what he had when he came in. He wasn't sure. Like, he knew he could do the job, but he wasn't sure if he had the horses. Well, now he feels like he has the horses. So I think this game against Texas is going to be really intriguing, where you've got Arch Manning the sum total of his work being Louisiana Monroe and 2-10 Mississippi State.
Right.
And he's being anointed as the golden child and the guy with all the experience. And well, I think he might get an education there in the horseshoe in late August, because I think Matt's going to be bringing up a lot of different things. But if Kenyatta Jackson, again, I'm not saying people have written him off, but nobody's talked until Sonny Styles said his name today. Nobody was really talking about Kenyatta Jackson. And the
Yep.
fans, like I said, oh, this and that. Well, you got Kenyatta. If Sonny Styles isn't lying or mistaken, and Kenyatta Jackson steps up, well, then the other three guys are all underclassmen. So
Yep.
there's our 3/4 of our line for 2026 on top of it. And they're going to get better year to year. So I mean, I think we have first world problems at Ohio State. As Ohio State thing, you have to really look to find the nits to pick on this team, because it's a really talented team. Maybe inexperienced, maybe guys haven't had a chance yet, but it's super talented. You got a couple of coordinators that are really trying to make their mark, really try to prove their worth in terms of their thing, and a lot of guys in the team that have been waiting a long time to be able to come in and be the man. And now they get a chance to show it. I think they're going to do it this year. I really think we're going to surprise some people.
Yep. I agree. And Texas got to come to the shoe, baby. They got to come to the shoe. And the crowd is going to show out. I know we didn't prefer big noon. I know I wanted a night game badly for this game, but this crowd, because people still like to take a dump on our crowd. And listen, I told y'all before, our crowd, yes, they're sleepy against Tulsa at noon, but in big games, they're going to show up. So yeah, come on down, Arch Manning. With that said, with Matt Patricia, real quick, and we'll get to some super chats. With Matt Patricia, listen, I call myself a press conference boy, right? Press conference boy. I know some of y'all don't like press con. I'm a nerd. I watch all the pressers. So I kind of I've seen Ryan Day over the years and stuff like that in pressers. point I'm making is, yes, he appreciated Jim Knowles, but I remember his responses when asked about acquiring him. He was happy that he had Jim Knowles and it was a good hire, but he lights up. He lights up like a Christmas tree when he's asked about Matty P. I mean, he's like giddy when I'm excited. I mean, in the press conference early, he said it like 3 straight times in a row. I'm excited. I'm excited. Like, he is just over the moon with this Matt Patricia hire, not because of just, what he did at New England, but what he's done so far here. Every player that I've watched in interviews, CJ Hicks being the latest one, Sonny Stott, they all love him. Love him. And I've emphasized this because a lot of Matty P haters, but when he got hired, was saying, well, he's a locker room cancer, etc. Well, these players love him and they're ready to go to war for him. And guys like CJ Hicks and Sonny Styles have said they love how they're going to be used by him. So I just wanted to put that back out there because that's exciting. And listen, yes, I appreciate Jim Knowles, but I'm not worried about the defense. I mean, it's going to be a first week. It's going to be a tough matchup against Texas, of course, but I'm more excited to see how it's deployed than I am nervous about us sucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no doubt we're going to be good. It's just how are we going to come out the gate against that Texas attack is sort of the question I have. But did you have anything on that before we transition to Super Chats?
No, I agree. I've heard nothing but good things about Matt Patricia. I mean, I have not heard one discouraging word from inside the program. I think people are really excited. And you know what makes Matt Patricia the happiest of all things, B? Is if you like this video. If you're listening to this show right now and you like this video and you like Matt Patricia, or if you don't like Matt Patricia, either one. But what would make him happy is if you like this video. So take the time right now, see that little thumbs up button, the little thumbs up thing. Just go ding, hit the little thumbs up button. Hit the little thumbs up button if you want us to sack Arch Manning and knock him out of the game in the first quarter. And there, just hit that little thumbs up button. That thumbs up button is almost like a fist pounding on Arch Manning as he's going in there. So hit the fist, do the thing. There we go.
Yes. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Like, and then subscribe if you haven't already done that. So we're going to get the Super Chats. And as we mentioned in the beginning, I got the Super Chats on my phone because they came through after we ended the show. So we want to honor that. And the first one is from Josh Huati fan 728. I'll be the one to say it. I don't think the NCAA is harsh enough on Michigan. This is a textbook case for the death penalty. Even I think the punishment should at least be a 5 to 7 year bowl ban and all gyms wins vacated. Yeah, 5 to 7 years is I mean, listen, I would love that. That ain't gonna happen. Death penalty is no longer on the table. It's just not gonna happen. But I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, this is the worst on-field impacting games cheating scandal ever. That's not a debate. So I agree with you. It's just, unfortunately, death penalty doesn't exist anymore, right, Nevada?
I mean, exactly. I mean, it's still on the books, but as a practical matter, it really doesn't. It's really not there as a remedy. But I know I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with the super chatter. I think this deserves the worst types of punishment. The good news is, from all that I've heard, they're going to be getting something that is a substantial hammer, vacated wins, multi-year bowl ban, recruiting restrictions, 2 to 5 year show cause for Sherrone Moore. I mean, so it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be especially bad for Michigan fans because they think they're getting off, and so think of it that way. That just makes it even sweeter because they're stepping off the thing and they're like, they got the party hats on and everything like that, and nope, Titanic's sinking, man. Go back to the end of the boat there, sir.
Yep, absolutely. And the band keeps playing on as
The band gets like, let's play it again, boys.
So yes. And then one quick thing before we transition. Like we said, prediction. These outlets and these podcasters will be jumping on their Michigan videos while we're getting, criticized for being in the moment, covering this huge story. Well, y'all can catch up later. We've been there, done that. We on it. And so just tip of the cap when it all comes down. That's all we ask. Tip of the cap, because we've been on it. So next super chat, same cat, Joshua Hetty, Ian 728. Thanks for the $9.99 and thanks for the $19.99 on the first one. It says, of course, including scholarship reductions to an astronomically low amount, punishment be severe. No, the punishment should be so severe that no one does this again. Yeah, I agree. But that, I think that's really the point. I think that's the goal. That should be the goal, is to, especially when you get to the level of punishment. I mean, the level of infraction, the punishment should follow to deter. That should deter, these schools from allowing this and monitoring their programs better. So I agree with you. You got anything on that, Nevada?
No, 100% agree. This is all about deterrence. And I think that's the biggest, risk with the NCAA's. If they don't punish this one harshly, then it's, it's basically a free for. It's basically the purge where you've got like no rules and everybody's just kind of running around and kind of doing stuff like that. Like it's chaos in college football, and they know that. The good news is they know that had identified this case early as an important one, kind of a landmark case for them, kind of one for them to kind of put their shield down and kind of dig in. But I completely agree. This is all about deterrence. Stop this so nobody else even thinks about doing this again. The punishment's got to be so harsh that nobody ever wants to do it. But 100% agree with that.
Yep. Definitely agree. And I think that's it for the super chats from yesterday. So yeah, let's get to the ones from today. So first we got thank you for being a Scoop Ultra member. Says Clueless 4 TD 4 DDY 4. Can we get Nevada Buck face cam at some point in the future? Listen, I like the mystique of the Nevada Buck cover and the logo and all the other stuff. He's been doing that for a long time. So, but with that said, Nevada, what's your take on this? It says, show your face on the camera at some point in the future.
Yeah, but maybe I have. Maybe I'm B Moses. You guys don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like this, with AI and with voice transcribing and stuff like that, I could be almost anybody. So I say there's a little bit of Nevada in all of us. So hey, but maybe I'm B Moses. If I'm B Moses, I'm a very handsome man. I'm telling you that.
Hey. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. We got the next one here. We got Jim Duchel, the good brother Jim Duchel, 1999. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. How you had it right in the beginning. Keep doing what you're doing. Love my scoop and love my scoop family. Love you too, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. And just rocking with us, man. It's greatly appreciated. Nevada.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. You're the best, man. You're our rock, the rock of Jim, and we just really we really appreciate it, and we appreciate, man. Guys like you, Jim, have helped us build this pod. I mean, this pod's going crazy. We're doing crazy numbers. We've got crazy support from the Ohio State community, and we just love you guys all so much. But Jim, you've been there since day one, moment one, never wavered, and we just really appreciate it. And it makes doing this podcast so much fun. So thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And yes, the scoop is absolutely rolling. And we got Jared Henniger, 3853. Thank you for the 1999. Focusing NIL on roster retention and proven portal players made sense with the old rules, but won't the new backloaded deals and buyout rules reduce the amount of talent entering the portal going forward? I think they're asking, will that reduce? I think that's kind of a wait and see. I mean, that logic, I think that makes sense to think that. But I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. I guess the only question is for me, and Nevada obviously follow up, is with the portal. Is it because, listen, we've gotten some players from lesser programs that have come in and have helped, or that are really good players that are stepping up to another level. So I guess my question is, let's say they have a deal, but now you said buyout. Now that's kind of the magic phrase right there, because I don't know how that's going to work if there's actually going to be like real NFL buyouts. But even if there is, let's just say there's a player at another school and they want to step up to like another level, Ohio State, and they're really, really good, talented player, like an Ethan Onawa. I'm sure I messed up his name. Sorry, Ethan. How would that work? I mean, like, I think that would kind of unstick that issue potentially. But I think you make a fair point. But I think we gotta wait to see. What you think about that, Nevada?
Yeah, I think the question is, will players have to pay back, or will schools have the opportunity to claw back NIL deals? will that restrict movement? Um, like you said, it's going to be a wait and see. I think it'll restrict the movement on the bigger. I mean, I think the Caleb Downs, so the guy is going from Alabama to Ohio State. Probably so, but the guy that's going for the lower programs, I don't think so. Because at the lower program, stuff, the NIL deals aren't that big. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
whether or not those guys are commanding top dollar. I mean, generally the reason that they've come on the radars, they were a lower ranked guy. It's not like they were a higher ranked guy going to a lower ranked school. They're generally lower ranked kids that have been able to kind of develop over time. But I think it's a legitimate question. I think it's one that's going to have to, will there be as much talent entering the portal in the future with these new types of, NIL deals going forward? Don't know, but it's going to, I personally am of the opinion that these smaller schools are still going to feed it, serve as feeders to the bigger schools. And if you want if you want a kid, you help them with the buyout, or they're willing to participate in the buyout. But I think it's certainly an open question, and certainly one that we're going to be keeping a close eye on.
Definitely. And then one real quick follow up. I also want to say that I do believe with this, with the dust settling, with this NIL stuff, that the recruiting high school kids, the machine that we'll have in place will be a lot more efficient, knowing and understanding the landscape as things settle. So it's not just going to be NIL and roster retention, but you'll start seeing the aggressiveness increase and the ability to get guys. Once there's a cap and things are in place to where it's just not wild wild westy out there, if that makes sense. So I think that'll help as well. But all right, Joshua. You know what? I misread it the first time. It's Joshua Dillon. My bad. 728. Thanks for the 999. And thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. So it says, I don't think the NCAA is going to go far enough with the punishment for scum. They should at least get a 5-year bowl ban and massive scholarship reductions, including transfer sanctions. Joshua wants blood. And listen, I feel him. And here's the rest of the super chats are him, or at least the next two. So I'm just going to follow up with his comments because it was like a complete thought. Thanks for the 199, Joshua. So severe, no one does this again. And then he follows up with, thanks for the 199, and all wins under hairball vacated, all of them. So a trifecta of boom, boom. Listen, Joshua, I feel you. Okay, 5 years will be phenomenal. What I think, I'm going to tell you what I think they should get within the realm of what I believe is reality. And that's not a slight on you. That's just what I think how what we're dealing with. I think they deserve 3 years. They deserve a 3-year bowl ban, one for each year they cheated. 3-year bowl ban, all wins vacated, title strip, natty strip, show causes, fines, scholarship reductions. That's what they deserve. I think it's, my guess, gun to my head today, I think it might be a 2-year bowl ban, as far as the postseason ban goes, but 3 years is what they deserve, based off what they did and based off their lack of cooperation and their aggravating factors and just all the mess. That's what I think. But listen, Joshua, I hear you, bro. What they did was trash. No matter how much they try to downplay it, no matter how much they try to gaslight you with, oh, everybody still signs. No, they don't. They don't record signals at the opponent's stadium. That's what you did. This is not just regular sign stealing that's legal. Stop pushing that. We're not dumb. Anyway, they're going to make me go off tonight, Nevada. What's your thoughts on this?
I'll parse some words, and I'll say what they deserve is five years of postseason thing. What they'll get is 2. But I mean, two's bad. I mean, two's really, really bad. I mean, that's real. Wait till you see what happens with the guy. They're not going to be able to retain all their guys. This is going to have a seismic impact on that. This is going to leave like a smoking crater. I mean, will everybody leave? No, because they're paying guys a lot of money. Some guys, aren't going to see the field for a couple of years anyway. They'll take the money and run and sit there, and Fat Tony Alford will sit there and take his money and just be happy that he doesn't have the pressure on him and stuff like that. But no, I think I think they deserve the worst kind of punishment. Just for their not as much for the transgression, for the arrogance and all the aggravating factors afterwards. That's why they deserve the worst type of punishment, because you couldn't be more uncooperative than Michigan's been in this thing, taking it public, destroying evidence. threatening legal action, repeat offender. I mean, like I've said it many, many times, but they literally check every aggravating box. So they deserve the worst kind of punishment. Just 2 cents.
Yep, I agree. And then the last one here, thanks for the $2. Chris Lane 3228. The best damn chat in the land is here. It is. Yes, I defy you, anyone out there to try to say you got a better chat than this channel. You don't. You don't. We got the best mods, best wrenches, the best folks in here. You know what I'm saying? It's phenomenal. I'm very, very impressed. And I've been on pods and shows and all the other stuff. This right here is the gold standard, the platinum standard. What you got to say about that, Nevada?
No doubt, no doubt about it. And we just feel so blessed to be here with you guys, and we just really appreciate it. And as I said before, help us out. Subscribe to the channel, like the channel, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That's how you can help support the channel. And like I said, you guys have just been so great showing up every night, and you keep showing up, we'll keep showing up, and we'll do this together, and we'll go win another natty.
Absolutely. And real quick, couple of quick things. One, I saw somebody in the chat asked if Brandon Ennis could play the KJ Hill role. I believe he can. This is another show. I'm signing out on this. I was watching him earlier against Penn State. He can play, and I know Nevada's wait and see, but I think he's going to be a little better this year and really make a lot of plays. So I wanted to address that. Also, just a reminder, as we're promoting upcoming shows, this upcoming Thursday, we're going to have the Big Tennessee fan, who we like a lot, Sports Talk Jay. He will be on the program this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's done a great job of covering this Michigan scandal from an SEC Tennessee standpoint. And, friend of the show, vice versa. And we're very excited about that. So make sure you tune in for that. But until then, we will see you next time. All right. Peace.